I'm not a racist, preach the teacher. You still they never had this. Number one, them wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse, without clues. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
You said when we first came on that you were nervous or anxious or what? How'd you categorize? You were like a little nervous, stressed. Okay, I'm hearing that a lot. I'm actually not stressed. Whatever happens, I feel like we got this, or we don't. But either way, we can't control. I already cast my vote. That's done. There's nothing I can do. Right? What's making you most nervous or stressed about tomorrow and beyond?
Because I worked in the Trump administration and I know what the belly of the beast looks like.
Wait, pause. What do you mean you worked in the Trump administration?
You what?
Yes, I was a presidential management fellow in 2017. And when I applied to that program, I thought I was going to be under Hillary, and I was not. Moved here just a few months after Trump was put in office. They put me in a position at the FDA. I did go to the White House and meet with some of his staff people and all of that for our little inauguration or whatever it was, orientation, not inauguration, orientation. And it was awful. It was an awful time. I was a federal employee during the longest government shutdown. I saw just how dark everything was, how unsure, how uncertain everything was. And then, of course, everything with how they mishandled the pandemic, watching science be undermined. I remember I worked on a project that Trump, and I won't go into specific detail about it just for the sake of not, disclosing things I shouldn't, but I worked on a project that he misreported, gave misinformation about from his administration. And instantly I got records FOIA'd. I had journalists calling me. I had people leaving voicemails, calling me evil, telling me to go to hell, all kinds of stuff. And I'm just one person who was working in the federal government at that time. There are federal employees all throughout who can tell you just how horrible things were. But that was my first job after law school. That was what I did. And I can't, I just.
So it's personal for you. It's personal. Yeah. So when she says we're not going back, you mean that?
I mean that. Well, yeah, I'm not going back. And like I said, I live and work in this city. And just on a personal note, I know for a fact I will not be safe living and working in this city if he were to be elected again, especially with how public I've now been on social media. So I will have to find something else to do.
I feel like she's going to win in a landslide with the popular vote. Today, there were a couple of rallies that Trump didn't even bother to come out for because the people aren't showing up anymore. Elon Musk had a bunch of volunteers that he ended up firing and stranding in Michigan. They're paying homeless people unhoused to come out. I mean, it's to me a very desperate, small, horrible campaign that has been run, rooted in hate and othering people. Do you think it's going to actually, how's this going to end up? If you were not a betting person, because we shouldn't be betting, but what do you see happening?
I do think she'll win. I do, but I'm also just trying to temper expectations because, like I said, I just remember how I felt in 2016. I remember knowing that I was coming here and who I was going to be working under. And what that was like. And so it's really hard to have really high hopes. I think I would call it, a healthy dose of skepticism, but I also have hope. And I do really feel like she will win. And I do. But I'm also, like I said, just, you never know how things will go. And also and I'll say when, to speak it into existence, when she does win, there will still be a lot of hate and backlash that we will have to tackle.
And what comes next for you? Because you parlayed your public health knowledge into comedy, because we got to laugh to keep from crying. So you do a lot of fun stuff. Are you out on the road performing and going to different clubs, doing club dates?
I am. I just had what is called the Together We Might Town Hall Tour. We, myself and my co-host, who is also a Black female lawyer comedian. Yes, there's two of us in this city. Her name is Jasmine Burton. We have hopped across the country doing what I would call daily show live with two Black women. It has been an excellent time, and our finale is tonight in DC. So a couple hours after I get off of this radio show, I'm going to be heading over to DC Comedy Loft in DuPont Circle, and we've sold a lot of tickets. I think we're fairly close to sold out last I checked. So very excited, and have some guests that are going to be in the audience, including a climate activist from Germany is coming, which is pretty cool. Some folks from the media, and it'll be a good time. And yeah, just this past Saturday, I performed at the Lincoln Theater in front of quite a few people, opening for Alok, who is a fantastic comedian. They are also a trans comedian, and it was just really great to be in that environment and hear their message and their comedy. And also just, it was a very uplifting evening as well. So yeah, I do tour, I do perform. I opened for DL Hughley sometime between the DNC and now. I think it was back in September. I'm trying to remember. Everything runs together. I opened for Shantae Wayans the same weekend. I love Shantae. She's amazing. So I get to meet all kinds of wonderful people in that space as well.
I love how the world is opening up for folk like you, Elizabeth, and I want to extend to you this space. I want to have more conversations. I feel like I've been telling the audience the work starts on Wednesday, and holding accountable and making sure that we have an agenda that we want to see happen, and not wait until 4 years from now to complain about what didn't get done. So for you, what would you like to see one of the first acts of Madam President?
The first act that I would like to see, oh my goodness. I want to hear her say, I know, and people might get mad at me for this because I know, you talked about earlier, there's definitely a split in the votes. You talked about Rura Roman, who is an amazing person, and I've had the pleasure of briefly speaking to her. I want to hear her say that she will support an arms embargo when it comes to Israel. And I know that folks want her to say that now, but I also understand why she can't as vice president. I know why she can't, because you do have to still adhere to the president's agenda. That's the role of the vice president. But I would love to hear her say that, yes, she would support an arms embargo. There's so many things I want to see done in this administration, but it's going to require not just her. It's going to require acts of Congress. I want to see the Supreme Court expanded. I want to see term limits set on the Supreme Court justices. I need Clarence Thomas to go home. I need him to go home to that racist white woman who he chose to lay with, and I need him to get out of our business. I really do.
And I agree. Let's touch and agree on that note. All right, you're going to be back. We're going to have you back tonight in D.C. at the Comedy Loft. You can see there's a couple of tickets left. Go get them. We'll tweet out the information. Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming through. And y'all can find her on TikTok, but I found her on the Twitter, which we're not going to be on very long. But Booker Squared is where you can follow her there, and her name is Elizabeth Booker Houston. Thanks for being here today.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed.